The faculty proudly presents the 110th graduating class.
Good morning. Please be seated. "12 years ago, in the year that Elon celebrated the centennial of its birth, our fall convocation gathered under these oaks to hear the Reverend William Sloan Coffin, former chaplain of Yale University and pastor of the Riverside Church in New York City. Coffin is a master at concentrating wisdom into powerful, brief packages. I want to share one sample of that wisdom with you as I invite us now to prayer. Courage, he said, is fear that has said its prayers. Let us pray. Gracious God, we thank you for this day that celebrates achievement personally and collectively. These students, one by one, have satisfied the requirements for their degrees, and as a college, every constituent part has worked together to fulfill our mission. We thank you that our identity as Elon College has been replenished as the members of this class have lived their questions here and are now leaving their legacy. But we must confess, if we are to be truthful, that each of us harbors some fear that we are not ready for whatever is next, that we have not kept our promises to ourselves to achieve the best that is in us. Yet life draws us inexorably into the future. We cannot hold it back. And life will surprise us. It will amaze and frighten us as often as it brings delight. Fear steals in and takes its place alongside our hopes, our plans, our longing to be authentic. It quizzes us. Are you sure? Do you have complete confidence? What if? What if? Therefore, we are here, O God, on the threshold of tomorrow, saying our prayers, seeking the path ahead. In your presence, we confess and name our fear and pray to receive from your heart courage to move through the fear and not become the fear. Take heart, you say, be of good courage. Look to me and overcome the anxieties of the world. So we will say our prayers, we will pick up our diplomas and move on in courage by thy grace. Amen.
Will you please stand and join me in singing the national anthem? Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars you. Please be seated.
Good morning, graduates, proud and happy parents and family members, Dr. Cannon, President Lambert, members of the Elon faculty and staff, fellow trustees, and all you friends of Elon. On behalf of the Elon College Board of Trustees, it's my honor and my pleasure to welcome all of you today to our 110th commencement. In 1891, at the first Elon commencement, the graduates numbered a grand total of 3. Today, you are over 800 strong. What stands out most about those first 3 graduates is their continued involvement with Elon after graduation. They all immediately became Elon faculty members. Now, I know most of you have other plans for your immediate futures. I think it's important to emphasize that the history of Elon is rich in the art of giving and giving back. I hope that you'll follow in the tradition and example of so many other graduates who have stayed involved with Elon in so many capacities. Over half of the members of the Elon Board of Trustees are Elon graduates and are helping to plan, develop, and fund the future of this wonderful college. Our keynote speaker today, Dr. Isabella Cannon, is a shining example of someone truly proficient in the art of giving back. Since her 1924 graduation, she has led a life of accomplishment, generosity, and public service. Dr. Cannon has never forgotten her Elon experience, and she has always carried Elon in her heart, as I hope you will do as you leave us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hunt, for your warm welcome. Graduating class of 2000, faculty, staff, and families. The day has finally come for the first class of the 21st century to graduate from Elon College. I'd like to take the next few minutes to cap on our past 4 years here at Elon. It seems like yesterday we were all arriving to our dorms, moving in, putting up our lofts, unpacking, saying goodbye to our families, and introducing ourselves to the people who today we call our best friends. We all had the same experience our freshman year with the nervousness of our first class, global experience, and Elon 101. These were all our first memories we had here. Finally, we've made it to our senior year. This is where we've had our last homecoming, our last midnight madness, our last fall semester, our last spring break, and our last undergraduate grades. We can look around us and notice the familiar faces we've seen in class, at football games, or even passing in the mailroom. 10 years from now, these familiar faces we will see at our 10-year reunion, and we have all succeeded in our own individual ways. Some of us will be doctors, lawyers, or teachers, and others will be television anchors, members of Congress, or actors, and several of us will have started our families. These 4 years have brought about a lot of change around the world. The presidency of Bill Clinton, Hurricane Floyd and Fran, John Glenn flying back into space at the age of 77, the unfortunate death of Princess Diana, and many other remarkable news. Here at Elon College, we've inaugurated the 8th president, Dr. Leo Lambert. We've seen the building of a beautiful new library, science building, and Daniel Lee Center, the groundbreaking for our stadium, and now our new mascot, the Phoenix. As we enter into what we all now learned is the real world, we must take with us the memories from these past 4 years and treasure them for a lifetime. Many people regard these 4 years of college the best years of your life, and at this moment, I think we can all agree. We must remember our roots here at Elon College and take with us what we have learned academically, socially, and philosophically. I would like to express the appreciation the senior class has towards the faculty and staff who have taught us lifelong lessons, been our models and mentors, and the greatest of all, been our best friends through these 4 years. I believe it goes without saying the incredible thanks we have for our parents and families who have given us unconditional love and support and made it possible for us to be here today. They have provided us mentally, spiritually, and of course, financially. Thank you for your dedication to us. As I leave you here today, I wish you all the best of luck as we go forth into the future. I wish you much success in all your endeavors. Congratulations, graduating class of 2000.
Thank you, Tracy. Good morning. Good morning. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you our commencement speaker, Dr. Isabella Walton Cannon, who has lived virtually all of the 20th century with courage, creativity, and a passion for public service. When you hear her life story, you will realize why Dr. Cannon is honored with a plaque on the National Women's Hall of Fame in Seneca Falls, New York. Dr. Cannon has lived a remarkable life. She was born in Scotland and immigrated to the United States at age 12. At age 16, she entered Elon and was a student during the Great Fire, which nearly destroyed the college. She received her degree in 1924. Soon after, while working as a cashier at a local bank, she was robbed at gunpoint and was the star witness in the resulting trial. In the late 1930s, she worked in Washington, D.C. with the Russian and French Lend-Lease programs. During the Second World War, she was finance officer for the United Nations Relief and Rehabilitation Administration. Her husband, C.M. Cannon, was in diplomatic service for many years, and Dr. Cannon lived abroad with him in Liberia and Iraq in the late 1940s and early 50s. Upon returning to the United States, she became an administrator with the North Carolina State University Library and became deeply involved in local politics in Raleigh. In 1977, frustrated with the Raleigh city government, she ran for mayor and won the election, thus becoming the first woman mayor of a U.S. state capital city. The long-range plan, which still guides Raleigh's development, was one of the significant accomplishments of her administration. Dr. Cannon is passionately committed to democracy and has made literally hundreds of speeches to urge citizens to get involved in their government. She is still active in Raleigh politics. In recognition of her outstanding public service, Elon College awarded Isabella Cannon an honorary Doctor of Laws degree in 1978. Dr. Cannon is also passionate about Elon College. She recently endowed Elon Center for International Programs, ensuring that our outstanding international study programs will continue to prosper and grow. The patron saint of the college leadership program that shaped many of you, Dr. Cannon is eager to support and encourage young people as they assume leadership roles in their communities. She embodies the concept of thinking globally and acting locally. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Isabella Cannon as your commencement speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Lambert, for a marvelous introduction. I'm really almost speechless, but not quite. I have been at many, many wonderful occasions, but today, the vibes that I feel here today, the excitement I feel here today, is tops to everything that I have ever been to or ever done, including my own inauguration as mayor. I am so happy to be sharing with you in this exciting occasion today. It is a special, unusual occasion. You are the first class, the class of 2000, the first class of this new century. And as such, we are expecting great things for you, expecting many wonderful things to be happening with you. When I graduated from high school, when I was 16, I was awarded 2 scholarships. One to Trinity College, which is now Duke University, and one to Elon College. We had not been here in the country long from Scotland, and so my neighbor discussed my good fortune with, my mother discussed the good fortune with my neighbor, and the neighbor drew herself up and said, "I hear there's goings on at Trinity." So I came to Elon College, which is one of the happiest, most wonderful things of my life. Today is very, very important. A commencement, by its very name, indicates a celebration of a beginning. Today is excitement. You're mixing, I'm sure, some regrets, some sadness at leaving, but also the excitement and the thrill, the possibility of what's ahead. And that brings me to my first point, very important. Be ready for surprises. You may think you have your future planned. So did I. I thought I was going to be a teacher, which I loved, and a Southern housewife. My first surprise came when my husband came to me, and unexpectedly, he had had the opportunity to go overseas and totally change our lives. When he presented me with this choice, I immediately said, "Yes, let's go." Then later in my life, when I was deeply involved in politics in Raleigh, a group approached me and said, would I consider running for mayor? I was considering a political office but had not thought of mayor. So again I said, yes, let's go. So I want to ask you to be ready, not for the things that you're looking at now, but for surprises and unexpected things that will happen in your life. Keep your mind open. Be ready for these surprises. And I will promise you faithfully, if you do, your life will never be dull. You will live it to the fullest. I never dreamed at that time that I would travel all over the world, that I would entertain presidents and heads of state, that I would live in strange places like Liberia and Baghdad for quite a number of years, nor that I would entertain the presidents and heads of state, nor that I would run for political office. So I invite you to be alert and ready for surprises. You're excited today. Take that excitement and anticipation with you. One of my heroes, Eleanor Roosevelt, said, life was meant to be lived, and curiosity must be kept alive. One must never turn one's back for whatever reason. I'll never turn your back on life. When I graduated from Elon in 1924, and we had just 42 graduates at that time, most of the technological marvels that you take for granted had not even been imagined. Television, computers, the space program, even cellular phones, to name a few. People like Einstein, Gandhi, and Eleanor Roosevelt had just begun their journeys to becoming legends. There was no woman's vote, there was no United Nations, no civil rights movement, and the world had not seen either World War II or Vietnam. Let me remind you, this is important, that these technological marvels did not invent themselves. They are the creative product of the human brain. And the human brain, the complexity of it, has yet to be explored. We are on the threshold of great discoveries there. So we are looking for you, in your century to come, to find many, many more exciting things than happened in the 1900s. The chances of you seeing development that you can't imagine now is great. One of the modern miracles that affects you here personally is a medical miracle. The average lifespan in the early 1900s was 47 years. Now you can expect to live well into your 80s. Imagine that. In terms of potential impact, another 60 years. You are the best educated generation of all time, and each of you with these 60 or more years ahead, all 800 or more than 800 with you, you can expect to have 50,000 years of impact on the world. Can you imagine that? You have power. You have potential. You here can change the world. It is awesome to think about it. In the century ahead, we are on the threshold of more technological changes, so sweeping that even Bill Gates doesn't have the faintest picture idea of what the picture will have. How I envy you. I would like to go with you in the next 60 years. I would like to be able to come and see you on your 25th anniversary, 2025, your class reunion, and see what you have accomplished. I know I would be proud of you. Second, wherever in the world that life takes you, I urge you to be involved in your community, whether it be California or Calcutta. Hubert Humphrey, another hero of mine, once said, "The greatest geniuses of world leadership are born and raised in neighborhoods." I learned the hard way by understanding and learning what was happening in my neighborhood, that one person can make a difference. Never forget that. I learned how to serve locally and nationally, whether it was zoning or parking or clean water or school bonds. Just as you, with your remarkable record of volunteer service, this class is outstanding. You have been part of the Elon community. You can continue your journey to greater service by becoming involved in your community, your local government, and by voting. Your work here, those of you, can change the world, one neighborhood at a time, your neighborhood where you are living. Some of you know of my deep interest, and it has been mentioned, of international concerns. I am so proud that Elon has named the Center for International Studies in my honor. I believe in the concept of a global village in a world that is growing smaller all the time. We must learn as much as we can about the peoples and the cultures of the world. Why? Because they are our neighbors. What happens today in Moscow or Beijing affects us in North Carolina tomorrow. The problems of people in China and Russia are the same as our problems here, whether it's a food crisis or a financial disaster. I know. I've been there. Third, I urge you to find the core in you. Oh, we got a little competition here. I urge you to find the core in you that is the best of you. Cherish, preserve it, and draw strength from it, and stay true to it. The facts that you have learned so painfully and with so much effort at Elon College are not as important as the attitudes, the values, and your reaction to life you take from here. We have not yet imagined the ethical, environmental, technological challenges that you are going to be facing. You, the class of 2000, will have to face. But I am confident that seated before me are the men and women who will show leadership, who will be the heads of many things that are happening. Whether you're the leader or whether you're involved in it, I know that you are going to have an impact on life. Finally, as today's excitement wears off and you start coping with the problems that are ahead of you, with difficult decisions, I hope that you will find a resource such as I have found. I've been through many difficult times, and my resource is I have a beautiful garden in Raleigh, which reminds me of the rhythm and symmetry of life, with our roots in the past, the beauty of the present, and the potential of the future. You will need some such resource as that, whether it's your family, your faith, your work, or your politics. But you will need something as you go through life and meet difficult things that will give you renewal and belief in the future. Life, like a garden, needs love, nurturing, and optimism. Today, I congratulate you. It's so exciting to be here with you on your graduation. We expect great things of you. Elon College is blessed to have such a wonderful graduating class, and let me be the first to welcome you as fellow alumni to the college we all hold dear, Elon College.
I, on behalf of all of us in the audience, want to thank Dr. Cannon for her thoughts. Would you not yourself like to have that energy? And her commitment to Elon College. An Elon College education encompasses many experiences, all designed to help prepare the graduate to be effective in a career and to live a life of fulfillment. In the course of these experiences, there are those candidates who extraordinarily meet the challenge of the college curriculum and earn the high respect of the faculty, staff, and their student colleagues. Their honors are recorded in the program, but we wish to recognize them, and I will ask them to stand as their honor is called. I would like those students who will graduate cum laude, a grade point average of 3.4 to 3.69, to please stand and be recognized. I'd like to recognize those students who will graduate magna cum laude, grade point average 3.7 to 3.89. Stand. And let's recognize those students who will graduate summa cum laude, grade point average 3.9 to 4.0. Students at Elon College also have been active in various organizations in our college community. Today, it is appropriate as well to pay tribute to those who have, through the high quality of their performance, earned honors and awards. Your attention is called again to the commencement program, which lists the seniors who have completed the Elon College Honors Program, the Isabella Cannon Leadership Fellows Program, the Science Fellows Program, and the North Carolina Teaching Fellows Program. Please note the lists for who's who among students in American universities and colleges, Phi Kappa Phi, Alpha Chi, Omicron Delta Kappa, and senior awards. Other special awards and the names of the recipients are listed below the honors organizations. I ask all candidates for degrees to please stand. Mr. President, those who stand before you have fulfilled all of the requirements, both as to quantity and quality, for the Bachelor of Arts, the Bachelor of Fine Arts, the Bachelor of Science, Master of Business Administration, Master of Education, and Master of Physical Therapy degree. Their candidacy has been approved by a vote of the faculty. It is my pleasure to present them for conferral of degrees.
By virtue of the authority of the state of North Carolina, vested in me through the Board of Trustees of Elon College, I confer upon you as a graduating class and as individuals the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Science, Master of Business Administration, Master of Education, Master of Physical Therapy, and entitle you to all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Please be seated. Many in the audience will want to take photographs as the graduates receive their diplomas. The area to take photos is to the right of the platform in the grassed area. I would ask you to please wait until just before your graduate is called before coming forward. And if you do come forward, please go to the back of the assembly and come down the sidewalk at Whitley Building to come to the grassed area. The following students have completed requirements for the Master of Business Administration degree. I would ask you to please withhold your applause until the final master's degree has been awarded. Jolene Childress Alley. Tate Price Aaron. Stephanie Maria Beard. Susan Phyllis Holloway Davis. Robert Bradley Dover. John R. Haig. Anthony Ray Hipp. Gina Yvette Howe. Donald Douglas Koenig. Carrie Ann Ledger. Angel Eliana Seymour Marshall. Jason Charles McGeorge. Sandra Ann Mitchell. Kevin Lynn Pack. Stephen Trent Rayner. David Francis Shortino. Anne Marie Kathleen Streeter. And Stacy Jernigan Walton. These are your Master of Business Administration graduates. The following students have completed requirements for the Master of Education. Again, please withhold your applause until the final master's degree has been awarded. Bethany Lynn Russell Briggs. Julie Scott Emmons. Catherine Louise Fowler, Carol Graves MacArthur, and John Joseph Merritt. The following students have completed requirements for the Master of Physical Therapy degree. Robbie Channon Brooks, Jennifer Marie Eaton, Holly Kristen Finley, Tanya Elizabeth Bullard Garner, Michelle Lee Gilman, Anthony Kevin Kokert, Edward Patrick Lehman, Tracy Marlene Little, Kristen Ann Major, Daniel Clifford Marcy, Jessica Suzanne Meyer, Jennifer Joanne Olson, Michael David Pease, Jeremy C. Phipps, Stacy Valentine Pritchard, Andrea Schweitzer, Jeffrey Duran Shoup, Molly Roth Southern, Richard E. Sova, Rachel Marie Taus, and the last of our graduate degrees, Robert James Wissert.
The following students have completed requirements for the Bachelor of Arts degree. Will the audience please withhold its applause until the final Bachelor of Arts degree has been awarded? Erin Suzanne Abernathy, Hidekazu Akamine, Jason Scott Alexander, Leanne Renee Alfred, magna cum laude, Kelly Annette Allen, Lauren Elizabeth Allison, cum laude, Stacy Lauren Andrioni, cum laude, Benita Abuya Apia Pinkra, Bridget Faith Arthur, magna cum laude, Maggie Elizabeth Asbel, cum laude, Brian Yancey Ashmore, Sarah Jane Avens, Scott Jason Backman, Eric Matthew Bailey, cum laude, Scott Christopher Bailey, George Anthony Baker, Jennifer Craig Ball, Jessica Lynn Ballin, summa cum laude, Ryan Porter Barnhart, Elizabeth Blaine Barr, Michael Dominic Bartone, Kevin William Bates, Tish Renee Beauchamp. Clifton Neal Bayo is unable to be here because of illness. Morgan Bell. Christina Jane Bellafon. Jacob B. Burke. Bree Ann Bittenbender. Ryan Thomas Blau. Richard David Blomquist, summa cum laude. Nicole Lee Blythe. Richard Stanley Boone. Nathaniel Walker Bourne. Karen Eleanor Bowater. Catherine Elizabeth Bowen. Jamie Lee Boyer. Kelly Eileen Christine Boyle. Karen Lynn Bradley cum laude. Amy Shannon Braderman. Jennifer Sutton Brand cum laude. Gayla Beth Ann Brandt. Holly Joy Breel. David Paul Brooks cum laude. Cameron Andrew Brown. Tiffany Shiffin Buchanan cum laude. Adam Charles Buckley. Susan Mary Burbridge. Melanie Brooke Burleson cum laude. Dennis Michael Burlew. William James Burr Jr. Candace Arian Burrow. Veronica Mae Butcher. Tiffany Michelle Burdick cum laude. Sharon Elizabeth Califf. William Stephen Campbell Jr. Ross Christopher Carnes. Tiffany Marie Carroll. Joanna Marie Cavallo. Timothy Shane Cavanaugh. Gary Armand Series cum laude. Leon Fitzgerald Charles. Jessica Lee Chatham cum laude. Carrie Jennifer Chalemi summa cum laude. Stephanie Lee Christensen magna cum laude. Whitney Lee Clark. Lisa Ann Clemon. Stephanie Lee Kloss. Tara Lee Cobb, magna cum laude. Patrick Falvey Collins. Kevin J. Conant. Amy Nicole Convery, magna cum laude. Bradley Sterling Cook. Paul Richard Copplestone. Margaret Ruth Coppola. Adam Hunter Cody. Tracy Lee Canoyer. Ida Ruthie Johnson Cousin. Michael S. Cowan. Tabitha Jeanette Crane, cum laude. James David Protz, cum laude. Finn Victor Crutchfield. Jamie Lee Curtis. Jay Hamilton Custis. Jessica Elaine Siren, cum laude. Patrick Christian Saplicki. Erin Mary Bridget Dalton. Laura K. Daniel. Courtney Michelle Daubert. Matthew Allen Davis. Nicole Renee Davis, magna cum laude. Michael Anthony DeCaro. Shauna Christine Dement. Arian Shay Dennis, cum laude. George Jamel Dennis. Dana Leet Dean. Edward Gregory Diedrich. Seth Allen Dieter. Jennifer Louise Dillon. Jacqueline Danielle Dixon, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Marie Dodson. Patrick Sean Donovan. Jude Philip Dooley. Heather Michelle Doss. Christopher Michael Douglas. David Scott Drummond. Michael Thomas Dugan. Jacqueline Suzanne Duke. Casey Dillon Dwyer. Amy Johnson Dyer, cum laude. Rebecca Carol Eisenhower, cum laude. Sarah Megan Elder. Thomas William Emig. Patricia Ann Richards Enoch. John Michael Irving. Elizabeth Ann Esco. Melissa Dawson Featherston. Tanya Lee Fellows. Alexander Leland Ferguson. Delton Stephen Ferguson. Megan Day Fisher, cum laude. Carrie Ann Elizabeth Fisher, magna cum laude. Megan Mary Fitzgerald, cum laude. Carrie Ann Fitzsimmons. Jessica Lee Floyd. Nancy Roberta Forbes, cum laude. David Mark Ford. Daniel Stokes Faringer, summa cum laude. Michael Brian Fortson. Jennifer Elizabeth Frank. Erin Marie Franklin. Amy Sue Frazier, magna cum laude. Wendy Elizabeth Freed, magna cum laude. Eben Cornelia Freeman, cum laude. Michael Todd Freeman, magna cum laude. Amber Dawn Fromm. David Michael Fuhr, summa cum laude. Akira Furumoto, cum laude. Shannon Kathleen Gailey. Michael Patrick Gallagher Jr. David Lee Gardner Jr., cum laude. Maurice Andrew Gardner. Emily Ann Gatewood, cum laude. Brandon David Gilcher. Jessica Marie Gill, summa cum laude. Tony Andrew Gillum, cum laude. Megan Leah Gerard. Charles Milton Gooch III. Michelle Lynn Gordon. Mark Allen Gould. Marissa Sue Graysick. John Bowie Gray VI. Angel Grace Green, cum laude. Catherine Ann Greenfield. Dina Ann Gregory. Matthew John Grigowski, cum laude. Carol Allison Griffiths. Alton Whichard Grimes III. Courtney Ann Gross. Suzette Holland Gudak, magna cum laude. Ginger Sarah Thies-Garrett. Kendall Elise Gwynn. Gloria Polita Gums. Scott Matthew Gustafson. Lauren Elaine Haas. Jennifer Bryan Hager. April Lynn Hagans. Jody Melissa Hallett. Paula Marie Hardy, magna cum laude. Bridget Shea Harris. Amy Elizabeth Harrison. Brett Thornton Harrison, cum laude. Melissa Sue Harrison, cum laude. Kristen Michelle Hartley. Britton Nauer Hartett. Emily Robertson Hawkins. Emily Catherine Hayes. Rebecca Elizabeth Haynes. Amy Marie Hedrick, cum laude. Andrew Benedict Hendricks IV. Justin Levi Hetherington. Aaron Miller Highsmith, magna cum laude. Emily Ross Hills. Annie Lynn Hoffman. William Christopher Hoffman. Devin McCallum Hollingsworth. Shannon Dawn Holt. Louis Joseph Holub. Catherine Nicole Hood. Nicole Rinko. Stephanie Louise Huber. Christina Lee Hudson. Lauren Ashley Husher, cum laude. Ethan Robert Hutchins. Carrie Lynn Iaquinto. Jacqueline K. Lishka Inman. Khadija Rashida Jefferson. Carrie Ann Jezerowski. Emily Ann Johnson, cum laude. Lisa Renee Roach Johnson. Courtney Mills Jones, cum laude. Deanna Lee Joy. Amy Meredith Kanikowski. Brian Michael King. Tracy Lynn Carls Broughton, summa cum laude. Kristen Cart, cum laude. Elizabeth Michelle Kelly. Kristen Elizabeth Kendrick. Meredith Erin Curley, cum laude. Sarah Marie Kevel, magna cum laude. Samuel Turner Kirby. Lee Saunders Kerkorian. Kelly Lee Klein. Lauren Klusowitz, cum laude. Laurel Lay Kawing, cum laude. Nilaja Rashida Karam. Margaret Elizabeth Kavalsky. Matthew Robert Kashinka. Matthew Martin Lacoe. Evan Ricky Lacasse. Angela Ann Latimer. Jennifer Robin Ledger. Joshua Lawrence Lee. Jennifer Erin Lenhart. Laurie Ann Leonard. Catherine Emily LaCalcy. Stephanie Ann Lindell. Glenn Howard Long. Ryan McGregor Lowe. Sally Pendleton Lawrence. Crystal Catherine Loy, summa cum laude. Catherine Lee Lucas. Jamie Marie Lunder. Michael David Lunny. Thomas Dudley Mackey IV. Elizabeth Aaron Mackey, cum laude. Kendall Stewart McIntosh. Michelle Lynette Macon, cum laude. Lisa Ann Maestri. Jennifer Mary McGrenny. Christopher Andrew Mayer. Sadatu Juanita Mahoney. Stacy August Mahoney, cum laude. Susan Ann Mahoney, cum laude. Lee Anna Manus, cum laude. Kate Elizabeth Mancy, magna cum laude. Mia Ann Manzotti, cum laude. Kristen Ashley Marion. Jennifer Lee Marshall, magna cum laude. A. Todd Martin. Catherine Elizabeth Martin. Justin Christopher Masucci. Zoe Ray Matthews. Karen Ann McAuliffe, magna cum laude. Connor Justin McCarthy. Scott Oliver McCrary, cum laude. Busey Thornhill McCraw III. Martha Osmond McDuff, cum laude. Erin Francis McEwen, magna cum laude. Catherine Taylor McGinley. Kelly Jean McGrath. Kelly Christine McCarg. Malcolm Reed McLean. Malia Ann McLean. Jason E. McMurdy. Catherine Elizabeth McNicholas. Corby Lee Meadows. Laura Lynn Machowski, magna cum laude. Megan Lee Mahaffey, cum laude. Tori Patricia Melroy. Amy Lanier Carter Messler. Derek Todd Messler. Natalie Carla Veronica Metz, cum laude. Megan Cecilia Millar. Kimberly Boyd Menschel. Andrea Elizabeth Moore. Catherine Elizabeth Moore. Christopher Clayton Moore. Allison Louise Morazy. Eric Lamar Morgan. Marlena Ann Mudrick. Thomas Patrick Mullen, cum laude. Shawande Maisha Mustakim, cum laude. Bree Heather Myers. Heather Nicole Myers, magna cum laude. David Malcolm Knowles. Kristen Grace Nastasia. Ruben Christopher Negron. James Andrew Neal. Virginia Catherine Nix. Dale Mildred Nolan. Allison Kimberly Navicki. Lynn Marie Nowak. Noriko Okamura. Jonathan Heath Oldham. Sandra Elaine Ordeman. Jamie Carol Orndorff, cum laude. Jamie Helen Owen, cum laude. Jessica Carlin Papuga, magna cum laude. Ethan Spencer Pell. Chanel Anika Pickram. Kelly Marion Pittner. Jessica Hammond Ports. Michelle Nicole Prevette. Susan Irene Probst. Courtney Smith Prosser. James Bernard Palayo. John Garnett Putnam. Alicia Ann Penn. Danielle Melissa Quinn, cum laude. Allison Denise Randolph, cum laude. Hillary Brooke Rath, cum laude. Tara Kamey Rigner. Courtney Baird Reynolds. Mary Vivian Reynolds, magna cum laude. Jamie Marie Ritchie, cum laude. Joseph Corey Roberts. Stephanie Blake Roney, magna cum laude. Tiffany Page Rosenfeld, cum laude. Kelly Elizabeth Rolls. Katie Ann Ruff. Lorraine Margaret Russell. Shannon Marie Russell. Jeffrey Lawrence Sanders, magna cum laude. Abigail Ruth Santa Maria, cum laude. Megan Kathleen Sayer. James Donald Schneidman. Marsha Lena Schubert, cum laude. Nathan Jared Schultz, summa cum laude. Jason Ryan Seelig. Jennifer Corinne Solito, cum laude. Danielle Helene Sempier, cum laude. Sarah Eleanor Shelton. Tamara Vaughn Sherrill. Tiffany Lynn Shields. Alex Clayton Shreves. Leslie Lenore Seiler. Carol Lee Simmerman. Erika Lynn Sims. Brian Christopher Royal Skeen, magna cum laude. Terry Lee Slater, Jr. John Scott Slepakura. Brian Christopher Slivka, cum laude. Gregory Wilhelmson Sloan, cum laude. Carly Ann Smith. Kevin Michael Smith. Lauren Elizabeth Smith. Neil Clayton Smith. Stephen Michael Snyder, summa cum laude. Christopher Lee Solberg, cum laude. Sarah Harris Starbuck. Susan Catherine Steckel. Marcus Scott Steele. Emily Christine Sternberg. Paul Roland Stevens IV. Meredith Jill Stewart. Lauren Lee Stone. Ellen Ann Stotman, cum laude. Hannah Elizabeth Cyphers. Julia Hughes Tabor, cum laude. Lucy Talvacchio, cum laude. Casey Ann Tanner. Natasha R. Tapp. Brian Carl Tarr. Andrea Marie Torriello. Jennifer Elizabeth Taylor. Carrie Megan Taylor. Walter Sean Temple, cum laude. Tracy Sanders Tedderton. Katie Lynn Thompson, cum laude. Ryan Wayne Thornton. Laura Michelle Thorpe, cum laude. Margaret Kenta Towns. Joel David Turner. Elizabeth Lassiter Tuttle, cum laude. Juliana Suzanne Ulrich, cum laude. Andra Danielle Underwood. Ken Hin Oy. Sandra Lynn Van Essen. Meg Hinton Van Meter. Chantel Elaine Boynier. McKeel Yauka Thomas Walkers. Katie Lynn Wadsworth. Catherine Hubbard Wall, magna cum laude. Joyce Ann Walker. John James Walto. Deborah Hups Wall, cum laude. Gwen Gibbs Warren. Sharita Devonda Watford. Jason David Watson, magna cum laude. Lane Elise Scott Watterson. Kimberly Ann Weber. Scott Jeffrey Weckerly, cum laude. Matthew Braden Weeks, cum laude. Amy Lauren Weldon, magna cum laude. Todd M. West, cum laude. Maureen Margaret Whalen. Brian Scott Whitaker. Travis Keith Whitaker. Antonio Lamont White. Michelle Elaine Weidman, cum laude. Jason Matthew Wilburn. Brett Kenneth Williams, cum laude. Dawn Michelle Williams. Kimberly Denise Williams. Catherine Armstrong Williford, cum laude. Brian Russell Wilson. Stephanie Lynn Winkle, magna cum laude. Jason Stewart Wagamuth, cum laude. Christy Lee Wolfgang, cum laude. Whitney Claire Wood. Edward Jeremiah Woody. Emily Catherine Woody, summa cum laude. Amy Robin Woolley, cum laude. Kimberly Levon Wright. Michael Ryan Wright. Stacy Catherine Winecoop, cum laude. Atsuko Yamasaki. Misty Lee Young. Michael Bradley Zinasek. Gina Lynn Zimmerman, cum laude. Jennifer Ryan Zukowski. Students have completed requirements for the Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. Will the audience please withhold its applause until the final Bachelor of Fine Arts degree has been awarded? Joseph Edward Boyles. Corey Jovan Bradley, cum laude. Daniel Timothy Calloway, summa cum laude. Jamal Leon Green. Richard Edward Greenfield, cum laude. Marissa Ann Pepple. Nancy Elizabeth Snow, magna cum laude. Allison Lynn Spratt. Rebecca Schubert Titleman.
The following students have completed requirements for the Bachelor of Science degree. Will the audience please withhold its applause until the final Bachelor of Science degree has been awarded? Brian Keith Ackerman, cum laude. Angela May Atkins. John William Albert. Melissa Jean Alty, cum laude. Lindsay Ray Anderson. Anika Lena Maria Anderson. Tyrone Robertson and Apple, summa cum laude. Jason Lewis Applegate, magna cum laude. Joshua Aaron Arell. Mark Christopher Arnone. Todd Wilson Averett. Kimberly Ann Bach. Rollin Damian Vidal. Hillary Jane Bainbridge. Joseph Warren Baldwin IV. Ronnie Annette Banish. Kellyanne Marie Barrett. Sean Adam Bartolane. Ryan Michael Bays. Brian Robert Beanie. Carter Eugene Bearden III. Jason Ramsey Beecham, magna cum laude. Jacqueline Lauren Behan, cum laude. Lisa Carol Bellamy. Walter Irving Bench III. Julie Ann Berry. Darren Zachary Bethia II. Ryan Richard Bliss. Austin Hall Boone. Stephen Richard Bopp. Luann Elizabeth Box. Brooke Ann Bradstock. Joshua Adam Brewster. Brad Nielsen Brooks. Tracy Hendricks Brooks, cum laude. Joseph Edward Brocious, Jr. Van M. Brown, magna cum laude. Michael Adam Brusgis. Jeffrey Russell Bunton. Marjorie Ann Burkhart. Jennifer Lee Burks. Christy Marie Burns. Kevin William Busfield. Michael Caleb Berman. Christopher Davoli Capistrant. David Carl Casavecchia Jr. Melissa Lee Chastain. Lynn Marie Claremont, cum laude. Lindsay Ann Clark. Angie L. Cloutier. Michael John Cooper. Seth Albright Cooper. Carolyn Gardner Corbett. Sean Michael Craig. William Chad Cross. Carrie Michelle Crowder. Amanda Blythe Curran, cum laude. Diane Garrett Curtis.
Good job, Diane.
Jeffrey Lee Curtis. Casey Curtis. Courtney Catherine Dale, cum laude. Christy Lynn Dalrymple. Courtney Brooke Daniels. Robert Lemuel Davidson III. Aisha Salome Alston Davis. Sheila Elizabeth Day. Cheryl Ann DeSand. Daniel Anderson Dietrich. Gina Marie DiMaggio. Danielle Vanetta Dixon. Laura Ann Dixon, magna cum laude. Christine L. Donato, magna cum laude. Matthew James Donovan. Michael James Duda. Richard Daniel Dunkley. Nathaniel Macon Edwards IV. Jessica Marie Everhart. Alexandra Cornelia Finizzo. Josh Sylvan Felix. Catherine Christine Fays. Jackie Lynn Fisher, cum laude. Jamie Lee Fisher. Jamie Maureen Fitzgerald, cum laude. Lori Michelle Fortune. Melissa Ann Fox. Justin David Fraser. Elizabeth Barron Freeman. Ryan John Freeman. Richard Todd Gardner Jr. Michael Louis Garozo. Matthew R. Guile. Sean Browning Gilliam, magna cum laude. Jennifer Lynn Gilliford. Marshall Scott Glass. Francis Robert Glasser III, cum laude. Paulo Adriano Blacut Gonsalves. Lydia Ann Gould, cum laude. Jonathan Curtis Grace. Todd J. Grassi. Marcine Marie Graves, cum laude. Courtney Michael Green. Jason Allen Green. Kristen Lees Green, cum laude. David William Gregory, cum laude. Ashley Brooke Greer. H. Jason Gross. Edmund Joseph Guthrie, Jr. Ryan Christopher Hadley. Stephen Michael Hahn. Preston Thomas Harbin III. Kathy Lynn Herring. Elizabeth Susan Harper. Amanda Lee Harrington, magna cum laude. Ryan Michael Harris. Stephen J. Harris. George Anderson Harrison. Toya Marie Hart, magna cum laude. John Jamie Harvell. Mary Catherine Haviland. Laura Hemhauser. Todd Matthew Hendrickson. Evan James Henry. Courtney Ann Henson. Kelly Noel Hicks, cum laude. Amy Carolyn Hill. Shannon Elizabeth Hill. Jason David Hills. Andrea Dawn Hobson, cum laude. Dustin L. Hodgson. Timothy Ron Holliday. David Rob Holton. Gina Lise Holton, cum laude. Kimberly Jane Horder. Nobuo Hosokawa. Benjamin Vaughn Howe. Gina Sloan Hunt. Brandon Thomas Hunter. David John Jacobson. Luke D. Jeffrey. Michelle Denise Johnson. Tamika Nicola Johnson. Brian Costin Jones. Beth Wright Keeler. Stacy Lynn Keeney, cum laude. Kiernan Early Kelly. Susan Ann Kelly, cum laude. Jessica Jo Kenworthy, cum laude. Seth Patrick Kessner. Ingrid Elizabeth Kiefer. Jessica Diane Click. Emily Ann Knapp, summa cum laude. Lindsay Marie Copald. Jamie Kasiba. Kira Larissa Kropcho, cum laude. Thomas James Kremer. Gina Christina Kruger, cum laude. Robert Daniel Lake. Colleen Gail Lally, cum laude. Sean Patrick Landers, cum laude. Gregory Edward Lasser, cum laude. Allian William Lawrence.
Cum laude.
Cami Joy Lennius, magna cum laude. Amanda Wynne Lewis. Emily Justine Linz. Anthony Richard Lucerdo. Jason Andrew Lohman. Sarah Walker McCubbin, cum laude. Barry Craig Maynor. Kane Ivy Marks. Joseph Max Marsiglia. Dennis Stephen Martin. Seamus Patrick McFadden. Sean Christopher McGowan. Robert Joseph McKieran, Jr. Marisha K. McLaughlin, summa cum laude. Kristen Ann McMillan, cum laude. Corbley Alexander McNay. Wendy Sue Miller. Christina Lynn Mitchell. Danielle Mitchell. Lauren Marie Mitchley. Jillian Patricia Malinsky, cum laude. James Blake Moore. John Scott Moore II. Joshua Kane Moore. Chad William Morgan. Robert Michael Morrison. Drew James Moss. Kirsten Mold. Karen Elizabeth Mullis. Joel Scott Munns. Jody Kathleen Murray, magna cum laude. Jeffrey Justice Myers. Jason Napier. Brian Nieberlein. Kristen Beth Nestor, magna cum laude. Megan Ann O'Donnell. Jennifer Marie Elke. Amy Eileen Osliger. Michael Ray Ostrander. Mark Lee Partridge. Sarah Kathleen Passarelli, cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Piercy. Robert H. Pearsall. Thomas Edward Peliquin, Jr. Timothy Francis Pfeiffer. James Ryan Flom. Carla Marie Phillips, cum laude. Carla Patrice Phillips. Eric Lee Picard. Charles Anthony Paget. Laura Jean Klochik, cum laude. Brad Alexander Plum. Elizabeth Joanne Myers Pruitt, cum laude. Ronald William Pukaz, Jr. Edward Vincent Quinn. Sarah Emily Raines. Andrew Simon Rappaport. Vanessa Ann Records. Kelly Reamer, summa cum laude. Amy Elizabeth Renner, magna cum laude. Colleen Marie Rudiman. Mary Nicholson Yulee Revellion. Kimberly Marie Rodolphe. James Ripa. Carrie Christine Rizzo. Heather Ann Robelik. Amanda Tula Robbins. Adam Timmons Rose. Thomas John Rose. Rochelle Lee Rubin, magna cum laude. Holly Suzanne Rupert, cum laude. Paul Jason Rosato. Vicky Ruth, cum laude. Timothy Michael Sales. Allison Beth Sanborn. Melissa Allison Scheid, cum laude. Brian William Schenkenmeyer. Matthew Paul Schifano, cum laude. Melanie Taggart Schneip, cum laude. Lucas Andrew Schroeder. Jill Courtney Schwabach. Joseph Martin Schwetz, cum laude. Regan Ann Sears. Elizabeth Ann Shames. Hillary Marie Shannon, magna cum laude. Rebecca Lynn Sharball. Samuel Grant Sharp. Latoya Renee Shaw. Beth Suzanne Shea. Stephen Matthew Schenk. Melissa Jane Sherman. Ravi Harai Singh. Michael Anders Screef, cum laude. Megan Lynn Smith. Carrie Lynn Spiker, cum laude. Sharika Tanae Stanley. Michelle Lee Stone. Ana Maria Sanchez Story. Philip David Sergala. Christina Lynn Sutlick. William Stewart Swackhammer. Matthew J. Sino. Michelle Lynn Schmeida. Pranali D. Talathi. Stephanie Lee Tausch. Kevin Edward Terrell, magna cum laude. Brooklyn Dale Tester. Jenny Kathleen Thigpen. Mario Deshaun Thompson. Walter Campbell Timms, magna cum laude. Christine Marie Togno. Catherine Lynn Tricana, cum laude. Jason Othniel Truesdale, cum laude. Heather Edmondson Tucker. Scott Richard Venus. Mark Adam Vincent. Amanda Danielle Voss. Leomia Roberta Walker. Nathan Anarchis Walker. Shannon Rebecca Walkup. Jessica Dawn Wallace, magna cum laude. Stephanie Shanti Walls. Todd James Wanamaker. Emily Louise Washak, cum laude. Akila Leona Weaver. Amanda Michelle Weaver. Ray Lorraine Weir, cum laude. Amanda Jane Wensler, cum laude. Catherine Brooke Worley, magna cum laude. Amanda Jane White. Jamie Talana White. Charles Wayne Williamson. James Lee Willis Jr. Jeremy Brian Wills. Christine Simone Wilson, cum laude. Travis Waddell Winkler. Kent Seabury Wyatt.
I need to interrupt the program just for a moment. The registrar, Mr. Albertson, has a word he wants to add to our graduates.
As the registrar of Elon College for the past 22 years, I've never had this problem before, but it seems I've overlooked one of our students. Sorry, Mr. President. It must be because he's taken 78 years to complete his requirements.
President Lambert, we do have a student that we skipped. The following student has completed the requirements for his degree. I present the last graduate of the class of 2000, the Fighting Christian. Mom and Dad, be happy yours didn't take 78 years. Following the President's remarks to our graduates, the audience is asked to remain in place until the recessional is complete. You are invited to a reception around the fountain. And you will save yourself time and frustration if you will go around the building behind me to your left and go back behind Whitley that way. It will get very crowded up here. You will be able to meet your graduate at the appropriate sign at the fountain. Dr. Lambert.
Will the class of 2000 please stand? Commencement is a bittersweet time. We congratulate you. We are proud of your success. But you are a part of the Elon family, and we are sorry to see you go. We've watched you change from teenagers to young men and women, prepared to take their places in the world. There are more than 800 of you from 38 states and 8 foreign nations. You will soon be going in many different directions. We have a graduation gift for you. It's a tradition that each member of the graduating class receives an oak tree, a very young oak tree. We like the symbolism. As you know, Elon is the Hebrew word for oak. Elon was founded 111 years ago in this very copse of oaks. It's good to know that within the next few days, we collectively will plant more than 800 oak trees all over the United States. Plant your tree in an open space. Give it some attention and some protection. And one of these days, your children will climb it, and your grandchildren will swing on it. You will have your own Elon Oak. Keep in touch with the college. There are those here who care deeply about you. Elon is your point of contact with your friends, with the faculty, and with the staff. This communication will be more important to you in years to come. Be proud of your alma mater and support it on every occasion. Over 100 years of nurturing made Elon available to you. You have the responsibility to keep Elon strong for your successors. I'd like the class of 2000 to join me now in a commencement tradition. Many of you have seen on videotape the late Thad Yor, chair of the Board of Trustees for 34 years, proclaiming, "Long live Elon." Last year, I concluded my charge to the graduating class with those same words. I will do so again. I want you to respond with the same 3 words with enough enthusiasm such that they'll hear you in Greensboro and Chapel Hill. Again, congratulations. You are now officially alumni of Elon College. Goodbye, good luck, and Godspeed. Long live Elon!